What's up, Gospel Chops? Here we go once again with another exclusive feature. Welcome to the second episode of the official Gospel Chops video blog, where we're blessing lives through gospel music discussion. My name's Gerald. I'm your host for this series, and before we go any further, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video on your social media accounts so we can get more musicians involved in the discussion. Today, I'm sharing 3 personal tips to help you learn gospel music on any instrument. And they're probably not what you'd expect. Let's run it. Throughout my years of working with gospel music and gospel musicians, I've often been approached by people curious about gospel musicianship and learning gospel music, but afraid to get too close for fear of the unknown. From the heavy metal drummer with tattoos and piercings who's afraid to go to a black church for fear of judgment, to the international drummer who says, "We don't have churches like that in my country," to the atheist who doesn't even believe in God, but is willing to go to a black church to learn this style of drumming. I appreciate all the messages, emails, and YouTube comments on this subject, and what I'm sharing with you today is something that I've said many times before. Learning gospel music is like learning a language. I remember when I was in college, I took a Spanish class as a graduation requirement. I needed to learn a foreign language. I walked in that class first day, and the professor began speaking in Spanish. I remember sitting there sinking into my seat, scouring over the syllabus. Am I in the right room? Did I sign up for the wrong class? Didn't understand a word she was saying. And about midway through the class, as I prepared to pack up my things and leave, she began speaking in English. And she said that this will be the only time during this semester that I will speak in English during class time. If you want to learn this language, not only do you need to immerse yourself in the language, but immerse yourself in the culture. From that moment, I understood. Spanish didn't work out for me, by the way. But I understood. You catch a word here and there. Along the way, you pick up 2 words. And eventually, you understand sentences. You understand concepts. But in order to get a full grasp of it, you have to jump in the deep water and immerse yourself in the culture. Gospel music is no different. This video in particular has to do with the mental state of what you need to do to get prepared to learn gospel music. I have 3 tips for you. Tip 1, take a self-assessment. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask questions. Why do you want to learn gospel music? How will you apply the skill? What brought you to this point in music? Do you already play? Or are you just learning? Are you just starting out? And gospel music is where you want to begin this journey. What inspired you to learn gospel music? I've heard people say I was inspired because I saw Aaron Spears on tour with Usher and he was killing with all those chops. Okay. But listen to what you said. You heard Aaron Spears with Usher. Pretty sure that wasn't gospel. Are you sure this is what you want to learn? You have to ask yourself. You have to be sure you're going in the right direction. Others might say, oh, I saw Tony and Thomas on Shed Sessions Volume 1, and that Shed was incredible, and I was just inspired to learn gospel music and learn what they were playing. Okay. But Tony and Thomas were in a shed. It's very different from playing in church. It's very different from playing gospel music. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Let's make sure we understand what's taking place here. Gospel music is performed in a spiritual context. Gospel is the word of Jesus Christ, the good news. The music that goes along with that supports that message. Gospel music is religious music. Gospel music is Christian religious music. Gospel music is Black, African American, Christian religious music. And if you want to learn this, you have to be okay with that. Look in the mirror, check yourself, take an assessment. Understand that gospel music has a unique sound. It's spiritual. It evokes emotions and feelings. It comes from a sacred place. It's a special kind of music, and you must respect it in that way if you want to learn it genuinely. Don't just seek to take the chops and ignore the spiritual side of what's going on here. In that sense, you would just be trying to extract a certain part of the culture without embracing the culture itself. You really want to do that? That leads me to tip 2. Seek to understand the Black church and Black culture. Gospel music is Black music. Some of these songs are inspired by the Black experience. These are forms of Black spiritual expression. If you don't want to be labeled as a culture vulture or someone who's just seeking to extract talent from the culture and not embrace it, then make yourself at home in a Black church. Make yourself at home with Black music. Make yourself at home with Black musicians. Once you embrace the culture, it'll be easier for you to absorb what's going on around you. It'll be easier for you to absorb this music, and it'll be easier for you to internalize and learn from what you see and hear. Tip 3, and this might be the most important. If you're going to learn gospel music, you have to immerse yourself in the culture. Don't just sit back and watch from afar. Don't think that you can just sit back and watch YouTube videos and soak this stuff in. It's not going to work that way. You may pick up a chop here or there, but you will not have a full understanding of what gospel music is. You have to immerse yourself in the culture. That means going to a church, a Black church that plays gospel music. You should do that. That means meeting up with gospel musicians. Make friends. Play together. Listen to gospel radio. If you can't get to a church locally, find an online streaming service. There are plenty of ministries throughout the country that stream their services online on a weekly basis. Watch it. Pay attention. Study what's going on. Who's talking? What are the musicians doing while that person's talking? What is the order of service? What's happening? What is the sound? Close your eyes and just listen so you can get an understanding of what's going on in that process. Watch the musicians. Do they send signals? Do they receive signals from other musicians? Do they receive signals from the speaker? Does the mood or spirit of the music ever change? Who changes it? Why does it change? This is all part of gaining an understanding of what goes on in the Black church, which will help you understand what gospel music is all about. And we certainly don't want to play it and not understand it, right? There's far too much of that going on. Watch and study. How does this stuff make you feel? Do you have an emotional reaction as you listen? Does it move you spiritually? Do you feel anything? Because if you don't feel it, then you're not attached to it. I've come across many gospel musicians in my experience that can't even explain to you the things that they play. They say, I just feel it. Well, it's going to be hard for you to feel it if you're distant from it. It's going to be hard for you to feel it if you have no attachment to it. You have to immerse yourself in the culture in order to embrace it. Listen to gospel radio. Listen to gospel services. Buy gospel music. Support gospel artists. Go to gospel concerts in your area. Do everything you can to gain a deeper level of understanding of what this music is about and where it comes from. And once you follow these 3 tips, you'll be prepared mentally to learn gospel music. See, the chops will come in time. The skill will come in time. Learning gospel music takes time. But once you prepare yourself mentally to embrace the culture, to embrace the black church, to embrace the sound of gospel music, you'll be better prepared to learn this genre, and you'll go much farther in your understanding and your mastery of gospel music. Until next time, peace.